Hey everyone, this is Joe coming to you from Nankin Hobby, and today we're talking about ice. Occasionally, we get the opportunity to run our RC cars and trucks in places that most people wouldn't be able to. Most recently, as sponsors of USA Hockey, we were able to run on the ice at a USA Hockey game. In preparation for the event, we took some time, did some things, and learned a few things about what runs on the ice, and we thought it would be a good idea to share some of that too. So the day before the game, we took 4 cars with 4 different tire setups and tested them on the ice, just to see what would work well. We didn't want to go out and put on a show where everything was just slipping and sliding around and nothing was performing well. That wouldn't have been a cool advertisement for the shop at all. So we did a few things. Our first vehicle that we used was an X-Maxx. So we took the X-Maxx, we took a full set of Proline Badlands, and we studded the tires. We did this with inch-long screws and 3/4 inch screws. So we did, I think, 24 studs around the outside of each tire, 24 per side, and then we did smaller screws in a strip around the middle, kind of in like a chevron pattern. And as the tire balloons, the shorter screws still made contact with the ice. That was the reasoning for the shorter screws in the middle. And as you'll see, I think that worked the best. If you're at all going to be running on ice, or at least like solid ice like we were, this is undoubtedly the thing that you should do. It was a pain. Thankfully, I wasn't the one who had to do it, but I heard about it for days. So I think it partly because it was the Badlands for the X-Maxx. They're huge tires. So A, it took a lot of screws. B, just handling these was kind of difficult. So shoving these screws through the tires, and then as you're working your way around, you're stabbing yourself with the existing screws. It was a nightmare, but it was well worth it. Everything else we tried, it didn't even come close to working as well as what the studded Badlands did. But we still got some cool results with some of the other stuff. One of the other things we did on the fire team was we took chains and we just chained our tires. So we took, I think it was way more chain than we expected. If you want to do something like this, definitely buy more chain than what you think you're going to need. I think initially I bought 12 feet of chain with the expectation that was going to do our tires for the fire team. We needed at least twice that much. So we did 2 strips of chain around the outside of the tires, and then I think 6 per tire, shorter links between them. And this looked very cool, as you can see, but it was not the best for this environment. And I think probably because we had solid ice, it's a hockey arena. Solid ice has no give. The tires, especially on the fire team, the way they have that hex pattern, there's no give to the tires at all. And then obviously chains aren't giving, so you're really just making skates, basically. The chains are just sliding around on the ice. That didn't work as well as we'd hoped. I think definitely we're going to do more with those chains in other videos. I think it was a really cool concept. I think they would work really well in maybe some icy kind of conditions, but more importantly, like through snow. Unfortunately, all of the snow has now melted. I say unfortunately. I'm very excited that we don't have snow anymore, at least for a little while. It would be cool if we got one more good snowfall to test this out, but I'm excited for spring. We did 2 other cars. One of them was just the fire team. The X-Maxx, the fire team we did. Also the Infraction, that if you didn't already watch our Snow Day Infraction video, the Snow Bash Infraction, that was a very fun experience. So we just took the Infraction that we had set up. It still had the paddle tires from when we ran on snow, and truth be told, we weren't expecting paddles to do a ton on the ice, but we already had it set up that way, so we thought it would be a cool trial. And then we did a ARRMA Mojave with just stock tires. So we kind of had a control group in the Mojave, the studded tires on the X-Maxx, the changed tires on the fire team, and then paddles just because we had them on the Infraction. When we actually went out the day before to do our testing, we had a ton of fun. there were several of the players from the team, the U18s, that stopped and watched, and we had a really good time doing it. We didn't necessarily have a really good time with all of the vehicles that we tried. So the X-Maxx with the studded tires worked phenomenally. The FIRETEAM was a huge disappointment. However, it was really cool to hear the sound of the chains hitting the tires, booming throughout the entire arena. It almost sounded like engine noises. So that was really cool. The Mojave worked surprisingly well. Considering the Mojave and the FIRETEAM are very similar vehicles. It really kind of illustrated how big the difference was between the chains and the stock tires, and chains were really just a hindrance on the ice. But I think the Mojave worked pretty well just because it's a heavy vehicle. And when we went the following day, we took a couple X-Maxes, we took a Super Baja Ray, we took a couple more Mojaves, and they all worked pretty well because they were really heavy vehicles. I think that's probably the biggest consideration, but undeniably the X-Maxx with the studs did infinitely better than all of the other X-Maxes or heavy vehicles. Even the Super Baja Ray is quite heavy. It did not perform the way that X-Maxx with the studs did. After seeing what the FIRETEAM and the Mojave did, and honestly, because we were running out of time to use the rink before the next game was coming in, we didn't even attempt the Infraction with the paddles. It wasn't going to do much anyway, but it was cool having it there. It kind of matched the colors of the arena. Everyone was excited to see it. And we had that sitting at our display booth the following day. We will definitely be doing more videos on the studding of the tires, maybe kind of an instructional sort of thing on that. More with chains, assuming we get an opportunity to actually do something with the chains in the snow. And assuming the chains actually work pretty well, we'll probably do a how-to video on how to make those too, because those were much simpler than what the studding of the Badlands were. And honestly, studding smaller tires would probably be simpler too. But we will definitely be doing more in general on just how to perform on slick terrain or icy terrain like that. And if anyone has any other tips that we didn't consider for driving on ice, and obviously most people don't have a hockey arena that they go run on, but maybe you have a pond that freezes over in the winter or something along those lines, definitely share those down in the comments. We'll maybe try those out and include those in the next video, or the next video on which we have an opportunity to run on ice, or just put those out, share those with customers who are asking. And we're always just excited to see your stuff too. So yeah, we're glad we got to share this experience with the world, even though most people wouldn't get to do this in person. We had a really good time. Thanks to USA Hockey for having us. Yeah, if you liked the video, smash the like button. Be sure to comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and we can't wait to see you again.